We need to talk about what is going on with Ezra Miller because this situation is out of control. Ezra owns a 96-acre large property in Vermont, and it's a farm where he houses cult-like behavior. And he currently has 3 kids and their mother there, supposedly in a gun-filled home. And of course, Ezra is far from stable. Remember when Tokata's father shared that Ezra just randomly pulled out a gun when they were taking a photo together in their home? So I believe that that is true and that Ezra has plenty of weapons. But now let's talk about what is going on between Ezra and this 25-year-old mother who has 3 young children staying at Ezra's farm. The children are ages 1 to 5, and supposedly their father isn't happy about their current living situation, which I would totally understand. It seems like there are a lot of substances in Ezra's life and those around them. So I don't think that a home in Vermont with a bunch of guns and drugs is a great environment for these young children. But let's talk about how this woman ended up at Ezra's home. This woman met Ezra in Hawaii when Ezra was visiting in March, and it looks like they hit it off and grew very close very quickly. Throwback to when Ezra was in Hawaii because they were constantly getting in trouble, fighting at bars, getting kicked out of bars, breaking onto people's properties. Like, we talked about this in previous videos, and I haven't forgotten because it was just a couple months ago. 2 sources with knowledge of the situation expressed concern to Rolling Stone that it is an unsafe environment for the children. This house, which I think any normal person could tell you that. But I guess one of these sources shared a story about one of the children, the 1-year-old, allegedly picking up a loose bullet and putting it in her mouth. That's frightening. As I mentioned earlier on in this video, Ezra operates under a cult-like manner and pretty much brainwashes these victims into believing that they are some holy power. But supposedly this 25-year-old woman claims that Ezra helped her escape from a violent and harmful ex and helped her and her children get into a safe environment. She literally told the Rolling Stone, "Ezra's home has been a healing haven for us. They may have firearms for self-defense purposes, and they're stored in part of the house that the children never go in." Well, that doesn't add up with the other story from that other source. "My kids are able to relax more into their healing because of the safety and nurturing Ezra has been providing them." I mean, that sounds completely different than what the father is alleging. We don't know anything about this woman or the father, really, but like, I would be pissed if that was my children living at this home with this person who is constantly in the news for bad reason. Ever since the woman and their children left Hawaii, the father has had 0 contact with their children, not being able to speak to them, and they were quoted saying, "I got a bad feeling in my stomach. I do want to go and get my kids. They mean the effing world to me." So I mean, he's going off. He's dropping F-bombs in this interview. The mother and father have been at odds for some time. According to some court records in Hawaii, the mother pursued 1 domestic violence case and 1 paternity case against the father in May 2021. But he denies all of these allegations and claims that the domestic violence situation was terminated. So it looks like the father is acknowledging that yes, these things went down in court, but nothing came of them because they weren't really based in reality. At that point, that's a he said, she said, because we don't even know who these people are. But the mother claims that they are still living at Ezra's farm with their children. The 2 sources who confirmed seeing the children there with their mother described it as a chaotic environment that is unsafe for children. Shoot, they even bring up a video from April where there are at least 8 assault weapons just around the living room, and some just guns propped up next to a pile of stuffed animals. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. Like when you start mixing the toys with the weapons and like the kids are just chilling around, like it's giving like cult, like army type vibes. Like what are they defending at this point? The Rolling Stone is also reporting that there are a bunch of drugs that are in the home and the children are just casually around them. The 2 sources allege that there has been frequent and heavy marijuana use in front of the children with little to no proper ventilation. Rolling Stone has also learned that there is a sizable cannabis farm on Ezra's property, but they don't actually have a license to operate. One person claims that there were about 28 different strains growing for a fall 2021 harvest, and it looks like there are 25 people who have 25 farms who have a license in Vermont, and of course Ezra's isn't part of that. Can you imagine how Ezra's feeling? Because obviously they are mentally ill, but to have all of these other issues and possible charges and problems, like, that gives me anxiety just even speaking about it. So I mean, I believe Ezra's wrong here, but I also want to recognize like the feeling that they must be going through right now paired with mental illness. Like, it must be unbelievable, and I really hope that they can get some help, or at least get some justice, like put them in jail and put them in a rehab facility. Who knows? But the father of these 3 children claims that they have been trying to remove his children since April. He's actually been calling, it looks like, the Department for Children and Families in Vermont to go and send police to go and check on his children. So that's I think that's good that he's doing that. And it looks like Rolling Stone did verify this, because this father had a text message with a Vermont social worker who did a visit at the home in May, and claims that it looks good, but the worker had more work to do. I don't know exactly what that means, but it's interesting that a social worker did in fact go to the home, because if it was really problematic, then like, I guess like the social worker would have called that out. So that's not really a great case for the father, but it shows that at least he's trying to go and rescue his kids. This is obviously not great news for Ezra, because on top of the whole situation with Takata, it's just not looking good, and Takata's parents aren't backing down. They're really worried about their daughter and want to see them, want to have communication with them, but it seems like Takata really is in this like deep, I don't want to call it like brainwash, because I really don't know what they're experiencing, but like there's something going on here where Ezra has manipulated Takata to really almost hate their parents. Takata has been on social media sharing posts like this one where it looks like there's a hearing scheduled on June 27th. Wow, in tribal court, because Takata's father wants to seek guardianship over them, which I don't think like a conservatorship or guardianship is like necessary, but we don't really know what's going on with Takata, but the story that I told last time about like the drugging and the how her brain alone was just like slowing down, like deteriorating, like that's very scary. Takata has also been making posts like this one, not necessarily cryptic, but a little bit bizarre, where they're just standing there. Like, I don't know exactly what that pose is supposed to be. It looks kind of like a cross pose, doesn't it? And if you were to go and visit Takata's page right now, you would see there are a ton of people who are calling them out, claiming that they're on drugs, that they need help. A lot of people are currently worried about Takata. I would be too, because Takata's currently with a person who was like arrested in Hawaii like almost 10 times, who broke into someone's home in Hawaii and called them slurs and told them that they were going to harm them. There are a lot of people who have been affected by Ezra's actions, and honestly there needs to be justice here, because it seems like there are a lot of different families whose lives are being damaged by one person, and that's a major red flag just to society. I did see Takata posted a video that I will overlay over the screen. There's really no sound or anything, but honestly I'm very worried about them and this entire situation, so I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Here is my email if you guys have any other video ideas for me, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye guys.